country, and the tragic passing of our children who lost their lives, the horrific accident on their way to school yesterday. Our hearts are not only bleeding, we are reaching a stage where it's becoming extremely difficult to contain our emotions. The Minister and the MEC had the opportunity to visit the families and the children, and we intend to conclude this visit immediately after this briefing. As you might all know, it has been a very difficult moment for all of us. We just want to give you an update of all the activities that we've managed to compile and all activities that we felt will be important that we share this information with our communities. We want to start with the drivers. There were 3 drivers that were involved, 2 in the truck, 1 in a taxi. In terms of the truck driver immediately after the incident took himself to hospital because he was not seriously injured. He left the hospital, and as I'm addressing you now, the police have confirmed that he has made an appointment with the police to make a full statement of the police later this afternoon. As an assistant truck driver, he was hospitalized, and the hospital provided all the medical needs that was needed and was discharged. Then there was a taxi driver who was also hospitalized and later discharged. Through the work of the law enforcement agencies, was arrested, interviewed, and the police have indicated that we will appear in court soon. On the basis of the work done by the police, we have now established that the PDP, which is the Public Driver's Certificate, has expired last year in November, and therefore he was driving without the necessary permits. The second area that we want to bring to the attention of our communities, it's a very painful part, is the number of those that have passed on. With the work of the law enforcement agencies, in particular the SAPS and the Department of Health, we can now confirm that 12 children passed away. Of all those children, 10 were identified when we were preparing for this briefing. 11 were identified when we were preparing for this briefing. The last family came forward, and all the children have now been duly identified. Of those injured, 5 were admitted through 2 of our hospitals in this province. 5 were admitted at Gauteng, and 2 were admitted at Gauteng. It's only 2 learners that are now in intensive care unit. 1 learner has been moved out of the intensive care unit. We've been inundated with the support systems from the private community, national government, and various institutions to provide all the support that is needed. Later on, the Minister will address you on this, and we want to extend our appreciation to all the institutions that have provided the full support, from burials, groceries, counseling, and general support that is needed during this period. We want to clarify 8 important areas in terms of the scholar transport system and management in our province. But on the one side, we want to clarify that is the public scholar transport. The public scholars transport that is using buses carry almost 260,000 children per day. That is the government scholar transport. The private scholar transport, which is the taxi that was involved, because these are family arrangements with the drivers, it's extremely difficult for us to have the statistics. The team is working on the statistics so that we can get this information. But those that are transporting our children in the public sector, this is the information that we want to share with you. That from the 12th to the 18th of January, we've been embarking on intensive evaluation of all scholar transport. In Tshwane, we've given handwriting notices to those that their transport were not in good order. And those notices amounted to 335 notices. In terms of financial penalties, the amount is 511,000. In Johannesburg, we issued 442 notices of people that didn't comply to take our children to school through the public scholar transport. And the notices were valued at 696,000. We have what we call e-enforcement infringements. That is the infringement that utilize electronic training. Either you're going through e-toll bridges or you're going through CCTV cameras. In Tshwane, the infringement were issued 263 buses for transport. In Johannesburg, it was 850. In general, we also discontinued some buses that were not in good order. Between those dates that I've mentioned, the 12th to the 18th of January this year, we've discontinued 14 buses or combis. In Tshwane, 68. In Johannesburg, 11 in Ekurhuleni. In total, 93 buses were stopped from transporting our children, utilizing our proactive methods of inspecting them before the school calendar can resume. In terms of arrest, we've arrested 5 people purely because of the state of their vehicles. Of the 5, 3 were arrested for bribery as they tried to bribe our law enforcement officers. There are 16 cars that were impounded because they were not in a good order. And the value of these cars has also been calculated by the department. Also during this period, we identified minibus vehicles that are transporting children without the necessary authorization and approval. 57 of the minibus taxis were without license discs, and our traffic and law enforcement have stopped them. 2 minibuses were operating without proper license discs as well, and those that are operating across the province without the license discs are 153, and all of them have been tracked and removed from our streets. So where we are now as government is to provide the immediate support to all the families and to provide assistance to those that need assistance from government. And our assistance is categorized in 3 forms. The first one was visits, which will continue today. The second one is counseling, which we have requested the Department of Social Development and various institutions that have donated this kind of service to continue to provide the service. And the third one is funerals. We want to take this opportunity, as I indicated, the Minister will take you through this, to appreciate those that have already contacted us and want to provide all the forms of support that we need. Once more, we appreciate the message received from the President of our country, and we have made necessary arrangements to ensure that the President is updated with all the developments that are taking place around this matter. Obviously, an incident of this magnitude calls for a review of some of our legislation, regulations, and the support system in this particular